Welcome to Canada Immigration Matters, where we discuss everything about immigration to Canada. I am Pius Aquilhugo, a registered Canadian immigration consultant with Chugo Immigration Services, and in this video, we'll be discussing how to create a successful Express Entry profile for Canada Express Entry application. Professional tip: do not take an English test first as indicated on the CIC website. Not everyone who wants to enter their profile into the Express Entry pool will be able to meet the minimum eligibility criteria. If you follow the following sequential steps, you will be able to know, at the earliest possible stage, whether or not you are ineligible from submitting your profile and whether or not it makes sense to pay the approximately $200 for a language test and $300 for an Educational Credential Assessment. Simply, there is no point in wasting your money unless you know there is nothing preventing you from applying. How Express Entry works. Express Entry is an online system that is used to manage immigration applications from skilled workers. There are 3 immigration programs managed through Express Entry. Canadian Experience Class is for skilled workers who have Canadian work experience. The work experience must have been gained in the 3 years before you apply. Federal Skilled Worker Program is for skilled workers with foreign work experience, and you must meet the criteria for education and other factors. Federal Skilled Trades Program is for skilled workers who are qualified in a skilled trade, and you must have a valid job offer or a certificate of qualification. If you're eligible for one of the above programs, you can also apply through Express Entry for the Provincial Nominee Program. If you're nominated, you'll get extra points so you can be invited to apply quickly. Before applying for Express Entry, remember to follow these sequential important steps below to successfully create your Express Entry profile and be on your way to potentially and successfully obtaining your PR in Canada. Step 1. Find out if you're eligible. You should first determine if you are eligible to apply for Express Entry. This includes meeting the eligibility requirements for one of the 3 programs managed through Express Entry. You need to do the following. 1. Determine if you qualify for one of the economic immigration programs, which are the Federal Skilled Worker Program, the Federal Skilled Trades Program, or the Canadian Experience Class. 2. Determine if you have at least 1 year of skilled work experience. 3. The NOC code needs to match your duties, not your title. When choosing the NOC code to best describe your work history, focus on your duties. What matters is that your regular duties match both the lead statement and the main duties listed in the NOC. The actual title of your job is less important when selecting the correct NOC. Also, there are 2 ways to find out if you're eligible for a program that is part of Express Entry. You will need to answer a few questions to see if you meet the minimum requirements and read the detailed requirements for each program. You can find these links in the description section below. Step 2. Check your score. Go to the CIC website and use the CRS tool to estimate your score. You can find these links in the description section below. If you're eligible for one or more of the Express Entry programs and submit your profile, you'll be ranked in the Express Entry pool using the Comprehensive Ranking System, CRS. The CRS is a points-based system used to assess and score your profile and rank it in the Express Entry pool. In order to receive an invitation to apply for permanent residence, you need to have a score above the minimum points score for your round of invitations. Step 3. Take a language proficiency test. Language proficiency is a key factor in Express Entry, so you will need to take an approved language test and achieve a certain minimum score in order to be eligible. Ensure that you take the general test, not the academic test. The academic IELTS is not valid for Canadian immigration purposes. The most common language tests accepted by Express Entry are the IELTS and CELPIP for English and the TEF for French. Step 4. Obtain an Educational Credential Assessment, ECA. If you completed your education outside of Canada, Your educational history must be verified by an Educational Credential Assessment in order to obtain points through the comprehensive ranking system to prove that your education is equivalent to Canadian standards. This is an important requirement for the Federal Skilled Worker Program, so ensure that you request an Educational Credential Assessment for immigration purposes. You won't know for certain how many points you will obtain for your education until you have received the ECA report, because the points are issued based on how your education equates to the Canadian education system. Typically, Canada is looking for 12 years of formal education before starting to consider post-secondary credentials. This means that if you finished high school at the end of grade 10 and then completed a 4-year university degree, you will likely find that your assessment shows you have the equivalent of a 2-year post-secondary program in Canada. What about the Federal Skilled Trades Program? The current system of evaluation does not have a sufficient mechanism to evaluate vocational or apprenticeship training where individuals receive trade certification from a government agency or professional body, rather than a post-secondary institution. Unfortunately, many highly qualified tradespeople are left with very few points for education with the express entry system. Although many qualified tradespeople will not obtain a high CRS ranking due to the complete loss of educational points, approximately twice each year there are express entry draws only for the Federal Skilled Trades Program, and the points required for an invitation to apply are usually much lower than other streams. Also, some of the provincial nomination programs target tradespersons. For these reasons, it's a good idea for tradespeople to enter the pool and keep their profile active because you never know when a draw will target only the Federal Skilled Trades Program. Therefore, tradespersons should apply, even with few points for education, as long as they can do well on the language proficiency test. Step 5. Get your documents ready. If you have determined that you are eligible for express entry and want to create an express entry profile, you'll need documents, such as language test results, to show you're eligible for express entry. Some documents take a long time to get, so you should get them ready early. To create an express entry profile for Canadian immigration, you will need to gather and submit the following documents: language test results, Educational Credential Assessment, passport or travel document, National Occupational Classification (NOC) code, job offers, if applicable, provincial nomination, if applicable, work experience documents. It's important to note that the specific documents required may vary depending on your personal circumstances and the immigration program you are applying for. You should consult the official Canadian government website for the most up-to-date information and requirements. Step 6. Create your online express entry profile. Your express entry profile is where you give CIC information about yourself. Once you have determined your eligibility, taken your language proficiency test, and obtained an ECA, you can create an online profile through the Canadian government's express entry system. This profile will include information about your work experience, education, language proficiency, and other factors used to determine your eligibility for permanent residence. If you entered your information accurately, you will be accepted into the express entry pool of candidates, and you will be given a CRS score. Step 7. Get an invitation to apply. Having completed all these steps, you are on your way to potentially obtaining permanent residence in Canada. CIC sends invitations to apply to the candidates with the highest scores in the pool. If you receive an invitation to apply, you'll have 60 days to submit your application. Under normal conditions, they may process most complete applications that have all supporting documents in 6 months or less. That's all we have for you today. We hope this video has been helpful in providing you with valuable information on creating your successful Canada Express entry profile. If you have any questions or need to book an appointment for assistance with your immigration application, contact Chugo Immigration Services at 1-403-836-1861 on WhatsApp, and we would be glad to help you out. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.